だいたいテントを持ってくる時点で生きるか死ぬかっていう決断はまだしてないっていうか。
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 unsettling discoveries that were found in the world's creepiest places.
Everyone is preparing themselves for their first view of John Hartnell's face.
Green boots, Mount Everest.
Once we get above here, above the South Pole, our bodies will be literally dying, and I mean literally dying. It's not called the death zone for nothing, guys.
The world's highest peak has an area called the death zone, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. While Mount Everest is the ultimate climbing challenge for mountaineers, the Northeast Ridge held a chilling landmark for nearly 20 years. Climbers pushing for the summit were forced to look at the frozen body of a fallen alpinist known simply as Green Boots.
They've been hit by a storm, Jan. It's really bad.
Where is he?
Believed to be a man named Sivang Paljor, his bright neon footwear protruded from a small cave, serving as a macabre waypoint. This was more than just a corpse. It was a permanent warning sign. Every passerby had to confront the harsh reality that there is no rescue in the death zone, and you might just become the next marker on the map for future climbers.
It's gonna take all we got just to get ourselves out. I don't want to die, man.
The camping gear, Okigahara Forest, Japan.
命は親からいただいた大切なもの。もう一度静かに両親や兄弟、子供のことを考えてみましょう。一人で悩まず相談してください。
At the base of Mount Fuji lies Okigahara, a dense sea of trees infamous for one thing: it's where people go to die. While annual sweeps often recover bodies, it's the subtle remnants scattered across the forest floor that truly unsettle visitors. Hikers frequently stumble upon abandoned campsites, finding tents and sleeping bags that have been rotting in the damp soil for years.
テントらしきものを見つけましたけども、これ裏側に人がいるかどうかちょっと確認してきますんで。
Even more disturbing are the trails of plastic tape tied to trees. Breadcrumbs left by indecisive souls hoping to find their way back out should they change their mind. So when you're on an afternoon hike and stumble across an abandoned tent, there's a strong possibility that its owner is somewhere out there in the woods and never coming back.
こういうテープなんかはですね、
The Frozen Sailors, Beechey Island, Canadian Arctic.
It had long been known that there were 3 graves on Beechey Island from sailors who died early in the expedition. In 1984, Beatty and his team traveled to Beechey to investigate one of the graves, that of Petty Officer John Torrington of the HMS Terror.
In 1845, the Franklin expedition vanished while searching for the Northwest Passage, leaving no survivors. Nearly 140 years later, anthropologists located 3 graves on the desolate Beechey Island deep in the Canadian Arctic. Creepy enough, but when they exhumed the bodies to determine the cause of death, they were met with an even scarier sight.
The findings were staggering. John Torrington's body was almost perfectly preserved.
The permafrost had perfectly preserved the dead sailors, particularly 20-year-old John Torrington. He wasn't a skeleton. He was a fully intact, frozen corpse with wide-open, milky eyes, a contorted face, and blue skin, looking mostly as he did the day he died in 1846. It's a haunting physical connection to a doomed voyage, where men slowly succumbed to lead poisoning and cold in the middle of nowhere.
It was likely the promise of double pay drew recruits to the expedition, that and the chance to be a part of the most lauded voyage of the time.
The wreck of the Titanic, Atlantic Ocean.
I wasn't expecting to be hit by it. See, I went in there, totally under control, so to speak, and I was blown away. It was a very moving experience that I did not expect to have.
Bit of an odd one here, but there's no denying that the wreck of the Titanic is an unbelievably eerie sight. The depths of the Atlantic Ocean are terrifying, an endless and silent pitch-black void, 12,500 feet below the world. Our brains simply cannot comprehend it. We weren't supposed to see down there, but a really famous ship sank in the ocean back in 1912, and we wanted to find it. Fast forward to 1985, when the wreck was finally located.
The team watches anxiously for potential evidence of the elusive Titanic wreck site. And finally, the wait is over.
Towering above the seafloor and silently sitting in the middle of nothing, its rotting metal hosts a number of ghosts in the form of abandoned shoes and dolls. The ship itself is creepy enough, But these reminders of the lost inhabitants take the terror to the next level.
And all that's left of human signature are their shoes. And all around the Titanic are pairs of shoes. Mother's shoes next to daughter's shoes, men's shoes, crew members. These are the tombstones.
The Vampire of Venice, Lazaretto Nuovo, Italy. Venice may be a city of romance, but the island of Lazaretto Nuovo hides a dark past as a quarantine station during the plague. During the excavation of a mass grave, archaeologists unearthed a skull that validated a medieval nightmare. The remains belonged to a woman who had had a brick violently forced between her jaws. This was a famous rite known for burying vampires. At the time, survivors believed that so-called shroud eaters were spreading the Black Death from the grave. So to stop the corpse from feeding, gravediggers jammed a stone block into her mouth. This brutal artifact serves as physical proof of the mass hysteria that gripped the population, showing they were terrified enough to desecrate the dead to stop a monster they believed was real.
And lo, the maiden fair did offer up her love unto the beast, and with him lay in close embrace until the first cock crow. Her willing sacrifice thus broke the curse and freed them from the plague of Nosferatu.
The Crystal Maiden, Aktun Tunichil Muknal, Belize.
Archaeologists found a lot of human sacrificial remains inside of the cave, but most notable of the remains is that of the Crystal Maiden. She's been there so long that her bones have been crystallized and fossilized into the cave grounds.
Belize's ATM cave is considered a portal to the Maya underworld Xibalba, but one chamber contains a crime scene frozen in time. Deep inside, explorers found the skeleton of a teenage girl known as the Crystal Maiden. But she wasn't just buried here. Judging by the crushed vertebrae, she was actually a human sacrifice, killed to appease the rain god Chak.
The Crystal Maiden is one of the last offering to the cave. Very, very strange energies when you go into that chamber.
The environment of the cave has transformed her remains, with its humid minerals calcifying her bones and giving the skeleton a glittering, crystal-like appearance. She is also literally fused to the floor, because of course she is. It's a beautiful yet horrifying sight, preserving the exact moment of a young girl's terrified final breaths in the absolute darkness of the underworld.
If you look down straight to where my light is, you can see where she is.
Oh, wow, okay.
The Nuclear Shadows, Hiroshima, Japan. While Pavelia's alleged ash soil is a debated statistic, the human shadows of Hiroshima are a verified record of instantaneous death. Following the detonation of the atomic bomb in 1945, the intense thermal radiation bleached the concrete and stone of the city, except for where people were standing. The bodies of victims absorbed the heat, shielding the surface behind them and leaving shadow-like imprints on the ground. Touring the city's desolated ground zero, people were forced to reckon with the negative spaces where human beings were incinerated. Known as flash burns, these shadows on the likes of bank steps and bridges serve as the ultimate ghostly echo of the exact moment that thousands of lives ended. The Monster Claw, Mount Owen, New Zealand.
And he slashes at you with this 6-inch retractable claw, like a razor, on the middle toe.
Back in 1986, an expedition into the cave systems of Mount Owen stumbled upon something that looked like a prop from a monster movie. Resting on the cave floor was a massive, terrifying claw with scaly skin, and some flesh was still attached. It looked fresh enough to have died recently, sparking fears of some unknown predator lurking in the dark.
Clever girl.
Analysis revealed it was actually the foot of an upland moa, a flightless bird that went extinct over 500 years ago. The cave's unique dry and cold conditions had mummified the limb so effectively that it seemed ready to grab you. It remains one of the most jarring examples of natural preservation, forcing explorers to look at a piece of prehistoric biology that just refused to decompose.
He doesn't bother to bite your jugular like a lion, say. No. He slashes at you here, or here. Or maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines.
Ignacia Angular, Museum of the Mummies, Mexico.
Yes, 911.
Hello, I'm buried. You have to help me. I can't breathe.
Sir?
I'm buried in a coffin. Please help. Send someone to find me.
The Museum of the Mummies in Guanajuato displays bodies naturally preserved by the region's dry climate. However, the exhumation of Ignacia Aguilar revealed a claustrophobic horror. When workers opened her coffin, they found her facing downward. Upon closer inspection, they realized that her forehead was scratched, her arms were bitten, and her face was frozen in a scream. This confirmed she had been buried alive. Suffering from catalepsy, she had been mistaken for dead and woke up trapped underground. Her mummified corpse remains a permanent physical record of pure panic. It stands as one of the most visceral finds in history, capturing the agonizing final moments of a woman fighting a battle she could not win.
I'm buried in a box. Buried in a box. I can't breathe in here.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications.
The Elephant's Foot, Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine.
First, it's going to burn through the biological shield here by Tuesday. And when it does, it's going to hit these tanks, bubbler pools, reservoirs.
Reservoirs for the ECS. I understand your concern.
You want creepy? How about an object that can kill you just by being in its presence? In the basement of Reactor 4 at Chernobyl, remote cameras identified a massive toxic mass dubbed the Elephant's Foot. This is corium, a lava-like mixture of melted nuclear fuel and concrete.
The uranium will melt the sand, creating a kind of lava which will begin to melt down through the shield below.
You've made lava.
I anticipated this.
Upon its discovery, the radiation was so intense that just 300 seconds of exposure meant certain death. The Elephant's Foot has been described as a modern Medusa, a monster in the basement that no human can safely approach or look at. It remains the most dangerous object on Earth, a silent, steaming mass of radioactivity that serves as a lethal monument to the world's worst nuclear catastrophe. It is the ultimate real-life horror.
Above all, while on the roof, throw your debris over the rail. Do not look over the rail. Is that clear?
What would you have done if you came across these on your own? Let us know in the comments below.